Hey folks, thanks so much for watching my video today. We are recapping issue number 27 of Boom Studios' Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, written by Kyle Higgins and illustrated by Daniel D. Nicocco. This issue starts us off in Draken's world, where the Century Rangers have Zack Taylor being held hostage. Skull has been working undercover in Draken's army and is now an aide to Zack and the Coinless Resistance to help stop the Century Rangers. Now back at the command center, all the Rangers are strategizing and trying to figure out what to do next in order to stop Lord Draken's madness. Jen Scott's the Pink Ranger Time Force Ranger then gets an alert that Draken is attacking multiple Ranger teams throughout time and the universe. At this point, Zordon sends out a message through the Morphin grid contacting any other Rangers who might hear his warning. Then we end up getting a message from Dr. K, who is the scientist slash mentor of the Power Rangers RPM. Mind you, the RPM Ranger team exists in a separate dimension called Corinth, and the message from Dr. K is that they have found a way to counterattack the dragon cannons the Century Rangers use to take away Rangers' powers, which could ultimately result in defeating and stopping Lord Draken. In the midst of this situation, the Rangers also get a message from the older Zack Taylor. There's a lot of messages going on. From Draken's world, calling out for help as his team has suffered loss in battle. At this point, Jason the Red Ranger makes the game plan. Trainees Zack and Billy are assigned to teleport to Draken's world to help the Coinless. Jen and Kim are reaching out and gathering any other Ranger teams that they can and bringing them back to the command center, while Jason the Red Ranger and Lauren, the Red Samurai Ranger, teleport to Corinth to meet with Dr. K. Now back in Draken's world, we are in his chamber, and it is very similar to the recent Shattered Grid trailer we've seen with JDF promoting the Shattered Grid event. In this segment, we see Draken conversing with Finster 5 and holding the red Zeonizer crystal. It seems his power, like many others, will be mashed together and fused with Draken, increasing his strength. But Finster 5 warns him the process will be unpleasant, but Draken doesn't seem to be bothered by that. Finster also asks Draken how his time undercover with the Zeo Ranger team was. See Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Annual 2018 #1. That recap, it is on my YouTube channel. It's in one of my playlists for the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger comics. So if you guys have not read that one for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Annual, be sure to check that video out, because this kind of gives insight to that past event. Lord Draken doesn't understand why they care so much for Tommy. Finster 5 says it could just be genuine love, but Draken says there's nothing to love about him. And I like Finster 5's response. He says, well, love, my lord, often doesn't make sense. And it's little segments like this that show a deeper humanity to these characters, and also you can see Lord Draken is misguided and has a blurred perception on life. But even so, he seems very curious and heartfelt at moments, where it seems like maybe down the road there might be hope for change in Lord Draken. However, his attitude and character is not the Tommy Oliver we all know and love. So things could end up getting even crazier, which I'm sure they will. One of Draken's soldiers storms into his chamber, telling him Dr. K has made a breakthrough and can now counter their attacks. At this point, Draken stands up and is preparing to send reinforcements and pay Corinth another visit, right after the next power transfer. Now in the dimension of Corinth, the Red Rangers are 10 miles away from the city, and in this segment, we get a moment that I felt was really heartfelt and inspiring. The original OG Red Ranger conversing and teaming up with the very first Red female Ranger. They both have experienced loss, they both carry the burden of leadership, but what I find interesting is how essentially the past and the present both impact each other to keep pushing forward. And also seeing the T-Rex Zord in the desert, I just thought was really cool. It was a really cool segment, and the scenery and the artwork, loved it. Now back in Draken's world, the Rangers have teleported into what used to be Ernie's juice bar. They soon meet with the Coinless Resistance, and Skull informs them that he has insight on how to stop Lord Draken, seeing as he was undercover for years and was even promoted as one of Lord Draken's Red Sentries. That's a pretty big deal. It seems like the next mission might be to free Ninjor, seeing as he's the one who created the power coins, and Draken has him contained. Back in Corinth, the RPM Rangers continue fighting off Sentry soldiers. Soon the T-Rex Zord shows up and straight up wipes the Sentry Rangers out, causing them to retreat. Jason the Red Ranger then exits the Zord and quickly wants to meet with Dr. K so they can teleport back to the command center to start on the defense weapon to stop Lord Draken. The Black RPM Ranger then points out that they may have a problem doing that, seeing as jets and Zords are headed right their way with Lord Draken at the forefront. In a new costume, again, man, that's going to be fun and challenging for some cosplayers. I'm telling you, if you're a Lord Draken cosplayer, I wouldn't get too comfortable with just one look because I'm sure his, physical attributes are going to change continuously. To be continued. Now, let's pause here for a moment. In this image, I see not only Sentry Rangers with Draken, but also I see the Psycho Rangers and Korag the Night Wolf from Mystic Force. I gotta say, that's pretty badass that other villains are actually teaming up with Lord Draken as well, aside from just his Sentry soldiers. Which leads me to my own fan theory. Now, brace yourselves. So, Lord Draken's costume continues to change as he collects more and more power from different Rangers. What if, in the finale of the Shattered Grid event, all that power consumes Lord Draken and ultimately mutates his physical form, causing him to become something else entirely? What if Lord Draken evolves into Lord Zed? I'm talking about evolving, and I know this isn't Pokemon, but just think about it for a second. Lord Draken's character is massive in terms of intimidation and the evil scale and popularity right now with the Power Ranger fandom and the community. I've been thinking about this for a while, and how the hell would Lord Zed even fit into the picture at this point? And you have to admit, and I mean, I understand Lord Zed, I still hold him near and dear as far as, one of those top tier villains, but I'm just talking about in terms of intimidation and the story at this point. How would he fit in? Which, with Boom Studios, they can definitely do it. But that's just something I've been thinking about. And you have to admit, there are certain things aside from that red visor both Lord Draken and Lord Zed have that could be similar in terms of the characters. Just a thought. I mean, this probably is not the case, but it crossed my mind a few times early on, and especially as I read this issue. Let me know what you all think about that. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can, stay updated on the latest scoop of these comics and more on my cosplay journey as well. Until next time, guys, wham, bam, boom.